State Bank of India expects the RBI to keep interest rates on hold when its Monetary Policy Committee meets for 3 days starting tomorrow. The chairman of India's largest bank feels the recent spike in vegetable prices is just a blip and should not impact the monetary policy. Here's Dinesh Khara in an exclusive conversation with Business Today TV managing editor Siddharth Zarabi.
Happy to report that for the quarter ending first quarter of 23-24, we have booked our highest ever quarterly profit of 16,884 crores. Our loan book has grown, domestic loan book has grown to the extent of about 15%. And when it comes to our deposits, they have grown at about 12%. So apart from that, our asset quality is pretty good. When we look at our NPA status, we have actually come down to 2.76% as far as gross NPA is concerned, and net NPA is 0.71%. On a YOY basis, it has witnessed a reduction of about 114 basis points in gross NPA. Apart from that, the way Indian economy is, there are busy seasons and the lean seasons. So first quarter invariably is a lean season, whereas last quarter of the financial year is always a busy season. So that's why, comparing the first quarter number on a quarter-on-quarter basis may not be a good idea. We are very strongly advocating that these numbers should be compared on a YOY basis only.
Absolutely, 178% increase in net profit on a YOY basis is absolutely impressive. You mentioned a couple of reasons for why this has happened. Beyond that, do you expect a similar trend in profitability for the rest of the year?
So our effort and endeavor would be maintaining the growth the way we have demonstrated. And why I'm saying that is because essentially it is attributed to the kind of opportunities which we see as far as the loan growth is concerned. Economy is expected to grow at about 6.5%. Real economy would be perhaps growing at even faster rate, if at all. Nominal impact of the inflation, if at all we neutralize, then perhaps it would be growing at about 11-12%. And so that actually is a reflection of the kind of opportunity which we'll have for growing our loan book.
How do you expect margins to pan out, Mr. Khara, given that the cost of deposits has also inched upwards?
Yeah, cost of deposit went up last year, but then it was more so in the last quarter of the previous financial year. So we have generally seen that when the repricing of the deposit happens, so that has already happened. And when it comes to MCLR, etc., that normally gets kicked in when the renewals of the loan proposal happens. So majority of the loan proposal gets renewed in the last quarter of the financial year. So that is something. And when it comes to advantage of the increased interest rate, it actually gets spread over the period of time. So I think we'll have a similar situation, and we'll get to see some kind of a spread of the impact of the increase in the loan rates, and also in the impact of the increase in deposit rates. Though majority of that is already factored, but some part of it might even show up in the second quarter. But I would expect that normally it should normalize at these levels.
Right from January, when we spoke at the World Economic Forum, what's your sense now? We've seen how rains are impacting a certain component of inflation. What's the overall sense you get at this stage?
Well, of course, I would say that the recent spike in the vegetable prices perhaps are more one-off than the trend line. So it should not have an impact on the inflation trend. Inflation numbers, what we have seen till now, has generally been in the range of about 5% only. And I think to that extent, inflation seems to be under check and control overall for the purpose of the policy. And when the policy meeting will happen, our expectation is that perhaps it will be a pause. So that is what our expectations are.
Do you expect a reversal anytime soon?
I think for the time being, it is expected to be pause, because invariably MPC will be ingesting a lot of data relating to the economy, inflation, etc. So I think it will be maybe by the time of the next policy, we'll have some better clear visibility. But as of now, it looks like it is expected to be paused.
All right, Mr. Khara, as we wind up, I just want to come back to one of the broader macro themes, and this theme has to do with growth. There are certain reports which have come out in the past few weeks about what India's economy will be, how per capita consumption will grow. So, on a longer time frame, what would you say about overall economic growth prospects for the entire country?
I would say that considering the global scenario, perhaps India is in a very sweet spot, and essentially it is attributed to very strong and robust domestic demand. And apart from that, the very clear focus of the government in terms of encouraging investment into infrastructure is now is now having a rub-off effect onto the private sector investment too. So I think if at all infrastructure investment will give an opportunity in the core sector, and which eventually will show up into the retail and also into the SME space. So I would say that all other sectors will be booming with the corporate sector and with the special focus on investment. So I think to that extent, India continues to do well, and hopefully we'll have many more years of such kind of growth opportunities.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.